I am so pleased to welcome Secretary Raimondo. The stage is yours.
Good morning and welcome to the Department of Commerce. It's great to have you all here. Isn't it fun to be together in person? Yes? Isn't that nice? You guys are terrific. This is like my 4th or 5th event in this auditorium, but the first one with people in the seats. So this is really quite energizing for me. Thank you all for being here. And I do want to thank Don. I want to thank Don for his incredible leadership. I feel so lucky to have Don as my deputy. We knew each other a little bit before working together, and I tell him that I hit the deputy jackpot because he's just a phenomenal partner and we work so well together. And one of the things I admire about him is his commitment to equity every day and everything that he does. And that's what it takes, right? That's what it takes. We all of us, we have to set the tone at the top of our agencies. That equity isn't a checkbox or a buzzword. It's what we do and the way we do everything we do every day. And if we do that and we're relentless about it from the top, we will be successful. And that's what we're trying to do here at the Department of Commerce. So let me offer a few comments on the specifics of how we think about equity here at the DOC. One thing that's on the top of my mind constantly is the digital divide. The digital divide, and we saw the heartbreaking stories every day last year of how tough it was for folks that didn't have broadband. That you didn't go to school, couldn't go to the doctor, couldn't do your job. That's real. That is inequity. 30 million Americans lack access to reliable, affordable, high-quality broadband. Now, especially people of color, especially low-income folks. That's a problem. The bipartisan infrastructure bill, which actually got through the House on Friday, is sending about $50 billion to the Department of Commerce, and our job is to invest that money effectively all across America with the mission of making sure every single American in every community has access to affordable high-speed broadband. We're going to do that. We will do that. It will be hard. Execution matters. But we're going to nail it so that at the end of our job, some years from now, everyone will have what they deserve. I've heard incredibly heartbreaking stories from leaders of Navajo Nation about kids who couldn't go to school. It's brutal. 50% of people who live on tribal lands don't have access to broadband. 30% of folks in rural communities. Where I'm from in Rhode Island, it's not so much that there isn't fiber, but it's the poor black and brown kids in inner cities. It's in their community, but it doesn't go to their apartment building. Or if it does, it's $100 a month and they can't afford it. Well, what good is that? So this $50 billion that's coming to the Department of Commerce, we are going to implement with an obsession around equity to close that digital divide, which will close the opportunity divide. On top of that, also through the bipartisan infrastructure bill, the Minority Business Development Agency, which resides here at the Department of Commerce, is finally going to become a permanent bureau. That is huge. That should have happened a long time ago, but it's happening now. When I first came to Commerce, I was surprised and dismayed to learn that the MBDA, which is currently very small, underfunded, and not a full bureau, is the only agency in the entire federal government whose mission it is to work with minority-owned businesses $1 million in revenue and above. That is shocking. It still, every time I say it, it tells me, damn, we have a lot of work to do. You can't be serious as a nation about equity and have that be the case. So, bipartisan infrastructure bill, it elevates MPDA to a bureau, and here's the exciting part, sends us $1.5 billion to finally do the job right. And we are thrilled to do that. It means small business owners in underserved communities are going to have technical assistance, access to capital, and really a chance to grow and add jobs in communities that have been forever too long underrepresented and ignored. The Build Back Better Act also invests $400 billion in affordable child care for low and middle income families, so moms can get back to work. It grants 3- and 4-year-olds free access to preschool, so kids are set up for success. That alone, and, I will say, there's so much talk about how much money the president is asking for in his plan. We ought to focus on what the plan does. For any other president, just delivering universal pre-K for every 3- and 4-year-old, that alone is a legacy achievement. Let's get that done. Let's celebrate that. Let's implement that with an eye towards equity. Who do you think gets left out when preschool is $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a year? Or black and brown kids. That is equity. Putting our money where our mouth is. So I'm proud to be in an administration that will bring about universal pre-K for every 3- and 4-year-old. It ought to be a right, just like kindergarten. And it's incredibly exciting. And then finally, I wanted to touch on something that is here at the Commerce Department, which is the $3.6 billion for regional tech hubs. So we have to get to the business of closing the digital divide with broadband, but we also have to close the innovation divide. Prior to being in public service, I was in the venture capital business. And so I lived this, I saw this. It is still the case that 90% of venture capital is in 6 cities around America. You know what they are: New York, Boston, Silicon Valley, Austin, Texas, Denver. Those communities might have a lock on the money. They don't have a lock on the talent. So these regional tech hubs, which Commerce will be administering, will be administered with an eye towards equity. With not an eye towards, that will be the top investment criteria. Because it's time to close the innovation divide. There are smart people and great entrepreneurs, wonderful research and development institutions all over America. And with money and catalyzing an ecosystem, they too can lead on quantum computing, quantum information services, artificial intelligence, robotics. So that's what we're going to do with these regional tech hubs. It shouldn't just be in New York, Boston, and those places. It ought to be in the heartland. Yesterday I was in Illinois. And it ought to be in inner cities. And it ought to be with folks who look like America. Not just, what it has been historically. I will end with this. I know America's competitive advantage is our diversity. Homogeneity is the enemy of creativity and innovation. And so everything we do here at the Commerce Department is to enhance America's competitiveness. Commerce is a broad and sprawling operation. A little crazy. We deal with everything from fish to weather to census, patents, international trade. Chances are, if you have a question about anything, we do something about it here at Commerce. My friends tease me that they call me for the weather forecast. But here's the thing. The through line through all of that work is enhancing America's competitiveness. And in order to do that, we have to celebrate our diversity. We will be more competitive if everybody can if everyone is included in our economic comeback. We will be more innovative if women and people of color and people from underrepresented communities are given a chance to work and innovate and compete. So I would say that not only is our work around equity necessary and the right thing to do, it is 100% related to our mission of enhancing competitiveness. Because if we don't unleash all the talent in America, we will not be able to compete on the global stage. We won't. But if we do, then no one will outcompete us. So I believe that what you are doing and having this equitable economic growth focus is, as I say, not only the right thing to do, I actually really believe it's essential. In the dozen years I was a venture capitalist, I sat on 15, 16 boards, never with a person of color, never with another woman. That underpins America's ability to compete. And it's on all of us to change that, and I like our chances. So thank you for being here. I hope you have